Hello guys. Today I will tell you a story of a failure, and then attempt to recover from this failure, and then giving up. Practical solutions to the first world problems by the everyday tinker. Yeah, this video is here for you so you will not make the same mistake I did. It all started when I decided to replace the display panel in my Y5070 gaming laptop. The original one had washed out colors like many of them do, and many people are doing this. Many people are replacing panels in Y5070, which is otherwise quite neatly packaged gaming laptop. The panel of my choice was an IPS panel from Samsung LTN156HL02. And I will tell you, this thing is a beauty. It was a great choice. In fact, I like it so much that I've ordered yet another one. No, I know, it makes no sense, but actually I did. But seriously, I had a plan for this. What I wanted to build was a portable display, which I could use as my second monitor for my laptop or a second screen to connect to my gaming PC, in case my wife occupies TV and I want to play a game, because my gaming PC lives in my living room. And you see, I have a very strong case for Nintendo Switch, actually. So I had some more ideas. I wanted to add some batteries and a charging circuit, some LEDs to make it more fancy, USB hub to be able to connect some more peripherals to it, to act it as a hub for gaming, and even drop a Raspberry Pi to the mix, mainly because I could, and because I have two lying around and not doing actually anything useful. And apart from the do-it-yourself fever that I have most definitely contracted for this project, I was driven by the lack of similar offerings from other manufacturers. There are small portable displays from Gams and Le Chic. Surprisingly, this company is from China. Le Chic. But the prices are steep for 1080p panels, and there are some offerings from Asus, but these displays are very nice. However, they are driven by the USB 3.0. And because of this, they are laggy and not very useful for gaming purposes. I started with building a rough prototype, and I will show you what I end up with. It's not a thing of a beauty, but it was working for a time being. So brace yourself. Looks like this. You see it? Yeah, it's an ugly motherfucker, and that's why I called it I Frankenstein, like I Frank to be brief. See, acryl around and some screws, but actually it was a first attempt. I wanted to make it sturdy, and actually I wanted to improve it over time. And I wanted to have some space to add other things that I've mentioned previously. Yeah, so this is I Frank. You see it, like panel here, electronics here. I will disassemble it in a moment to show you what's inside. Okay, so let's disassemble this beauty quickly. As you can see, everything is based on the screws that I have bought in the local equivalent of what you American people can call Home Depot. Actually, I've bought it in Bricomarché, a French market. Okay, the construction of this thing is very simple. However, be warned that it was not that easy in the first place. Okay, so let's move this out of the way slowly. Let's be very gentle, Let's be very, very gentle. If you can. Sometimes you cannot. Okay, here it goes. Okay, it's good, and now I need to disconnect this thing. Okay, some masking tape to keep it in place. It's very important so you don't destroy this very fragile connector. Actually, we wouldn't like it to be broken, so that's why I did it. And this is this magical panel that I have mentioned. It's a very good stuff. Now let's disconnect it gently. It's disconnected. Okay, done. This will be tackled separately later on. Now, let's talk about the board. Okay, so I'm done with disassembling the prototype, so iFrank is no more. Actually, right now it's split into halves, but actually Frankenstein's used to be like this, you know, created out of multiple pieces. So it shouldn't be any strange for him situation. Okay, so this is how the board that I've created looks like. So you can see piece of acrylic, right? And actually on this piece of acrylic we have 3 components, very simple ones. So the controller itself, I will tell you about the controller itself in a second. This is the main topic of the video that we're doing today. This is something interesting actually, and also I will mention about this in a moment. This is the converter, which converts the signal from LVDS, which these boards outputs, to EDP, so a very small DisplayPort connector used in most of the modern laptops. And this is a simple board, with simple PCB with the buttons to control this stuff. Okay, so what was the story of me buying this? Following some advices, on the forums I have chosen a driver board based on the NT68676.2A. That is mouthful. And I've ordered one on the eBay from the Chinese vendor. They had a great customer service, I tell you. And after providing them with the model number of my panel, I was informed that because that my panel has an EDP connector, they need to add something that they have called costly and special cable. As you could see a few seconds ago, actually it's not a cable, it's an adapter, but I was not aware of this at the moment. Not thinking much, I have agreed. I have assembled iFrank, connected to the laptop, and hooray, it was alive. It was working, it was great. Then I had a few Witcher 3 sessions on it, and it became apparent that something is off when it comes to the midtones. Long story short, iFrank had an awful case of color bending. You know, color bending means that the display cannot properly render transitions between colors. Instead of smooth gradient, you see ugly bars of colors. Few hours of investigation later, honestly, I should have started with this, I admit. The awful truth hit me. My panel is being driven by 2-channel 6-bit signal, while my driver board is 2-channel 8-bit. 2 bits were dropped on the way, and this lost information manifested itself as a color banding. I have also learned what actually my Chinese friends were doing when configuring my board for my panel. NT68676.A panel boards can be programmed to be able to drive a wide range of panels. So they have loaded a firmware which should match my panel. That's it, just loading a firmware. Being much wiser, I came back to the vendor with all the information I have collected, as well as with some pictures of the color banding phenomena. I have also asked for the firmware they have loaded into my board. And honestly, when they've told me what kind of firmware it was, I was lucky that it was working at all, because actually the firmware was for something completely different. However, coming from Samsung as well. Once again, I was amused by the quality of service. They were answering all my questions and offered a refund. The only thing I had to do is send the board back. And this was a problem because sending something to China from European Union requires some paperwork, so I was a little bit discouraged. It was not worth the effort. I pursued other route. Instead of refund, they have agreed to send me an LVDS cable and a programmer so I could load other firmwares by myself. And, by the way, the NT68676.A board has LVDS output, so the expensive cable mentioned by the vendor was in fact an adapter, separate circuit board. I've showed you this one, which was capable of translating LVDS signal, different kinds of LVDS signal actually, it can be configured via jumpers, to EDP. But it's not capable of doing a dithering of 8-bit signal to 6-bit signal. It just cuts off the unused 2 bits, which actually, as I said, caused color banding, most probably. And probably it also delays this this adapter adds a delay, which for the gaming purposes is very much unwelcome. I will actually show you what what they have sent me. So I will show you the programmer and I will show you the LVDS cable that I have received. This is the LVDS cable. Looks like this. You can see it. So actually, woohoo! Here goes my programmer. Okay, so this is the. Ah, that's interesting. It's not freaking LVDS. They have sent me another one for EDP. That's a surprise. Okay, so this goes to the board, this goes to the power, this goes to the EDP, and yeah, thank you very much. Okay, and here we've got a programmer. It's not even open. So if somebody is interested in the not used programmer for these kind of boards, you can contact me. I can send you this one for a small fee, of course. Okay, so I've showed you the cable and I've discovered that they have sent me not the thing that we've agreed on, so not that perfect. Now this is the programmer, right? So this is kind of an obvious. This is a board that you put in the in your USB port. This is interesting stuff. So actually you are programming the board using the D-sub connector, which you are putting into the board. And there is a special programming interface, very simple one, for sending hexes via serial bus. So not that complicated. And then out of the firmware files that you can find on the internet, you can choose the one that matches closely to what you have, and actually load it to the board and pray for the best. So I'm a little bit disappointed because I thought that I will keep the board for the purpose of the future projects. So here I am. I have a cable that I do not need. I have a driver board which I do not plan to use. I have a programmer which is a single purpose device, and I'm a little bit discouraged. Oh, one more thing. I also have a power adapter to this. So actually this driver board is powered by the 12 volt DC power adapter. So actually, I will keep. I will sell the. I will keep the electronics. I will sell the panel. Maybe in the future, I will. I will find out a way to use it. Maybe for some kind of a Raspberry Pi project. For now, I'm not touching this anymore. Actually, there is a learning for all of you. So before buying NT68676.A board, make sure that actually your panel has a dedicated firmware for it. And constrain yourself to 2-channel 8-bit LVDS panels, so you do not have to use the pricey and presumably laggy EDP adapter. And provided that you fulfill all of these requirements, you should be golden. And you can buy it from EQ Store, the seller, the most popular seller on the eBay. They have a very good customer service. Sometimes you may have problems with actually communicating with them because of the language barrier, and as you could see, they were to send me an LVDS cable, and actually they have sent me yet another EDP cable. So this is an example of the problems with communication. However, they are responding very quickly and they take care of their customers. So your choice. And that is all for now, guys. So actually, this is an example of the failure. It's not like all the projects that I'm doing are success. You should know about this before starting with playing with such things. So you need to be prepared for some failures. But this is part of the journey, right? So thank you very much for watching this short video. Hope that you will be wiser than me. And if you feel that you need a driver board, that you need EDP converter to EDP cables and maybe a programmer, get in touch with me, and maybe I can sell it cheaply just to recover some costs. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.